I told my mother this morning that I would never forgive her, and everyone thinks I'm making a mistake. My parents were together for 23 years. They met in their early 20s at a mutual friend's cookout, and my dad always told the story like it was a movie. He said he saw her laughing from across the yard and just knew. That was it for him. He never looked at anyone else after that. Growing up, I believed in what they had. My dad coached my little league teams, fixed my car when I was 16, and never missed a school play. Not one. Even the bad ones where I had 3 lines and forgot 2 of them. He still writes birthday cards by hand, full paragraphs. The man does not do anything halfway. My mother was the opposite in style, but the same in love. Or so I thought. She was spontaneous, funny, the kind of person who makes friends in a checkout line. She and my dad balanced each other perfectly. That's what I grew up watching. That's what I thought love looked like. I used to hope I'd find something even close to it. When I was 19, I came home from my first semester of college and found out she had been cheating on my dad for 4 years. Not a mistake. Not a moment of weakness she immediately regretted. 4 years. Planned, hidden, sustained. With someone from inside their own friend group. A man who had been to our house for holidays. Who shook my dad's hand at my graduation. I found out because my dad finally broke down and told me. He sat at the kitchen table for 10 minutes before he could even start the sentence. I had never seen him cry before that night. When I went to confront my mother, she didn't apologize. She looked at me like I was being unreasonable and told me I was too young to understand the complexity of adult relationships, that she and my dad had problems I didn't know about, that things weren't as simple as I was making them. I left her house and didn't speak to her for 2 years. My friends thought I was being too hard on her. My aunt kept texting me saying she was my mother, and I only get one. People told my dad he needed to encourage me to reconcile. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone thought they understood something I didn't. What none of them saw was what I watched happen to my dad during that time. He lost 15 pounds in 3 months. He stopped telling the story about the cookout. He sold the house they had picked out together and moved into an apartment he clearly has no idea how to decorate. I visited once and there was nothing on the walls, just white walls and a couch he bought off a Facebook listing. He said it was fine. He smiled when he said it. That smile destroyed me, because I knew that smile. It was the one he used when he didn't want anyone to worry about him. 2 years of silence ended last week when my mother reached out asking to meet for coffee. She said she was finally ready to explain herself, that she wanted us to move forward. I thought about it longer than I should have, and then I said yes. I told myself I was doing it for me, to get whatever closure I was still missing. I should have trusted my gut. She spent 40 minutes explaining herself, and not once did she explain the right things. She told me my dad was emotionally unavailable, that she had been lonely inside the marriage for years, that she had needs that weren't being met, and that she made a human mistake. She said she needed me to see her as a full person, not just through the lens of being her son. Not once did she say she was sorry. Not to me. Not about my dad. Not about the 4 years. Not about the man who shook his hand at my graduation. Not once. I sat there and let her finish, and when she did, I asked her one question. Does dad know you're rewriting history? She didn't answer. She looked down at her coffee and she didn't answer. I understood then that the meeting was never about explaining herself. It was about feeling better. Getting me back so she could stop feeling guilty. Not because she had done the work of becoming someone who deserved to be let back in. So this morning I called her. No back and forth, no drafted message. I called her and said what I should have said 2 years ago. I told her I love her, that she is my mother, and that will never change. But I told her I don't like who she is. That the person she showed me in that coffee shop had spent 4 years lying and 4 more years building a version of events that made the lying make sense. And I was not going to be the final piece that made her feel okay about all of it. I told her I was done waiting for a version of her that could just say sorry. She cried. She said I was being unfair. She said someday I would understand. My aunt called an hour later and said I was being cruel. My friends think I'll regret it. Everyone keeps telling me she's my mother. Like that word is supposed to be the answer to everything. Like it cancels out what came before it. But I watched my dad sit in that empty apartment with nothing on the walls, and she still can't say sorry.